Hello there and welcome to Dave's Wrestling Pitches. Now, this coming Sunday is going to be WWE's latest edition of Extreme Rules, with the main event looking certain to be Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor in his Demon persona for the Universal Championship. And, let's be honest, the Demon's losing this one, isn't he? Which, let's be honest, is a real shame. Now, I'm not saying that the Demon should win, but losing kind of tarnishes one of the few special attractions that WWE still has left. The Demon is Finn Balor's evil side incarnate, a creature from another realm of existence, impervious to pain, unfeeling, unfearing, a creature that... it doesn't matter, does it? Because he's losing on Sunday. And the sad part is, the reason he's losing is WWE's own doing. Finn Balor returned from NXT back to SmackDown and was inserted immediately into the title scene. However, WWE didn't think ahead, didn't factor in having John Cena on the horizon, didn't factor in having to bring Brock Lesnar back in, and as a result, Finn Balor's kind of felt like an afterthought. It kind of felt like he doesn't really belong. He's always been pushed aside in favour of bigger and better attractions. And the Demon being brought in was kind of meant to inject a little bit of doubt, inject a little bit of drama into the situation. Could the Demon win? The Demon's never been defeated on the main roster. Could he possibly beat Roman Reigns? No. Sad face emoji sigh. And realistically, Roman Reigns probably shouldn't be losing on Sunday. He is in the form of his life. Ever since winning the Universal Championship at SummerSlam 2020, Roman Reigns has been at the top of his game, at the top of the industry's game, just the head of the table, if you want. Roman Reigns has introduced elements to his character for probably the first time since he was in the Shield. He is a swaggering badass, and not only is he a swaggering badass, he's a very, very talented swaggering badass, and he's flanked by his cousins, one of the best tag teams that have ever been, the Usos, and he's also backed up by his mouthpiece, one of the best managers that WWE's ever had, Paul Heyman. And yet there are layers to this character. Roman's constant need to be acknowledged, looking down the camera during matches and cutting promos mid-beatdown. These are all part of his need to be acknowledged, to be accepted as the best, something that's never happened during his babyface run, and hints at insecurities with Roman. Roman is a character with doubts. Roman is a character with demons. Now, if it was me booking Finn Balor's return to the main roster from the very beginning, I would have done one of two things. I would have either kept him away from the Universal Championship scene so long as Roman Reigns is holding the belt, or I would have just kept the Demon out of it. Because ultimately, this story doesn't require the Demon to add an element of drama. Don't forget, Finn Balor was the inaugural Universal Champion. He had a reign that lasted for just 24 hours before a horribly timed shoulder injury stripped him of that belt. This is a belt that he never lost. That's your story right there. You don't need to introduce the Demon. Introducing the Demon into the story introduces a scenario where the Demon can lose. And again, I won't say he's definitely losing, but the chances are the Demon is losing on Sunday, and losing tarnishes the Demon's aura. We don't want that. He is a special attraction. He needs protecting. But I'm working with what I've got, so here it is. This is my pitch for Finn Balor, the Demon, and what comes next. Now, we've seen on this week's episode of Raw that this match at Extreme Rules has been changed into an Extreme Rules match for the Universal Championship, which is kind of handy because that's what I was going to pitch anyway. And at the start of the pay-per-view, Paul Heyman lets us know that the reason the match was changed to an Extreme Rules match is because Roman Reigns wants to send a message to his opponent at Crown Jewel, Brock Lesnar. He wants to let him know what he is in for. He wants to make an example out of Finn Balor. The only problem is Roman Reigns isn't facing Finn Balor in this match, he's facing the Demon, and as we've already discussed, the Demon is impervious to pain. He's shrugging off shots with weapons, he's no-selling Roman's offense. The Demon has the head of the table against the ropes. There is only one Demon, however, and Roman Reigns has got backup in the form of two Usos and one Paul Heyman. This, of course, is the real reason that Paul Heyman got the match changed. The only rules in Extreme Rules matches are there are no rules, and as a result, The Demon is fending off offense and fending off interference from the Usos left, right and centre. Anytime he gets an advantage, someone gets in the way. Eventually, realising that he can have the upper hand as much as he wants, but it isn't going to matter as long as his interference still keeps happening, the Demon drops to his knees. He spreads his arms wide, looks up to the heavens and says, "Acknowledge me." Roman Reigns pauses for just a second, little bit of uncertainty, before seizing on the opportunity, grabbing the Demon, putting him in the guillotine chokehold and choking him out. The Demon doesn't resist, doesn't fight back, he just fades away. Now, slight spoiler alert, this is going to be the last we're going to see of Finn Balor or the Demon for a little while. And yes, I am aware it's a little bit risky to be taking Finn Balor off TV so soon after his return, but we're going to use his absence to build to what's coming next. You see, keeping Finn Balor on TV is going to result in one of two things happening. Either he's going to continue to float around the main event scene as an afterthought, or he's just going to drop down the card. Both of those things are going to tarnish Finn Balor. We don't want that, so we're going to take Finn Balor off of TV. And don't forget the reaction Finn Balor got when he made his return. Finn Balor can be off TV as much as he wants. He's still going to come back as popular as ever, so we can take him away for the time being. In the build leading up to Roman's match against Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel, Brock Lesnar is going to be reminding Roman Reigns that he didn't beat Finn Balor, he didn't beat the Demon let him win. If anything, Roman Reigns acknowledged the Demon. This just tickles at Roman Reigns' insecurities and causes him to be much more aggressive than he normally would be during his match with Brock Lesnar at Crown Jewel. Roman Reigns comes flying straight out of the gate and is essentially going to squash Brock Lesnar. Now, I know this is asking a lot from Brock Lesnar, given his stature and given the way that he holds himself on the card, but Brock Lesnar is one of the best sellers in wrestling history. He just is, alright? He just is. And he can do it when he needs to, and he can do it when he wants to. And hopefully this storyline and what it's going to lead to would encourage him to do that. Also, I don't think that Brock Lesnar actually cares that much as long as he's getting paid, so hopefully the millions and millions and millions that WWE are throwing at him just to come back, hopefully that'll sweeten the deal a little bit. Roman Reigns can squash Brock Lesnar, but his hyper-aggression is leaving him open to counterattacks that he wouldn't normally be caught off guard by. And of course, this is something that all of Roman Reigns' future pay-per-view opponents for the Universal Championship are going to try and exploit. They're all going to remind him that he acknowledged the Demon in the hope that this angers Roman to the point where he leaves himself open. And this of course means that the Usos have to get involved more and more. Paul Heyman has to get involved more and more and more, furthering the narrative that Roman Reigns can't get the job done by himself, which of course furthers those insecurities, which of course causes the circle to keep on turning. Roman gets more insecure, gets more angry, leaves himself more open, which means the Usos have to get involved, which means Paul Heyman has to get involved, which means Roman Reigns gets more insecure, and so on and so on and so on. He does keep winning, however, and every time he does, the arena lights just flash, just for a second, just flash red, just like they did on that September the 10th episode of SmackDown, that same flash of red light, which was our initial herald of the Demon's return. These red flashes aren't acknowledged on commentary, they aren't addressed by WWE in any way. What they are is just a silent nod, a silent indication of what is to come. Now, we've reached the Royal Rumble with Roman Reigns still as champion, and in the main event, in the show's titular match, at the number 30 spot, countdown timer reaches 0, the klaxon sounds, and who should appear? Of course, Finn Balor. Well, I say of course Finn Balor, what I mean is, of course, the Demon. The Demon hits the ring full of fire, full of rage, impervious to pain, and quickly eliminates all the other contestants. The Demon has won the Royal Rumble. And, as his tradition, he mounts the turnbuckle and points towards the WrestleMania sign. As the pyrotechnics fire to signal that he is going to WrestleMania, the arena lights flash just for a second in that same red light. After the Royal Rumble, Finn disappears again. On SmackDown, Roman Reigns comes out, mic in hand, and demands that Finn Balor come to the ring to acknowledge him. But Finn Balor's gone, there's no sign of him. WWE management confirmed that the Demon did indeed win the Royal Rumble and therefore will be in the main event of WrestleMania, but if Roman Reigns wants to be there, he still needs to defend his championship at Fastlane. This of course leaves Roman Reigns more determined to prove himself than ever before. In the Fastlane main event, he wins with the guillotine choke after absolutely obliterating his opponent. Once the bell is sounded, he gets out of the ring but doesn't collect the Universal Championship. Instead, he collects a tin of red face paint, gets in the ring, picks up his unconscious opponent and smears red face paint all over his opponent's face and torso. He looks straight down the hard camera and says, "Finn, at WrestleMania, this is what is going to happen to you." Roman continues talking trash into the camera, saying that the Demon will acknowledge him at WrestleMania when the arena is plunged into red light. On the Titantron, we see images of chaos, of hell, of burning, of torment, of anguish. We hear screams, we hear cries of despair. On the Titantron are scratched the following words: "At Extreme Rules, you faced the Demon and lost. At WrestleMania, your demons will be exposed." Roman is left speechless as we go off air, the fragility behind the mask finally exposed. Over the next few weeks on SmackDown leading up to WrestleMania, we see a new side of Roman Reigns, a new focus. He is no longer full of sound and fury, but like Macbeth, having realised that he cannot escape his fate, he has decided to go out fighting. He forbids his cousins from interfering on his behalf. He forbids Paul Heyman from getting involved in any way. If he is finally going to prove himself, if he is finally going to get people to acknowledge him, he has to beat the Demon, his demons, on his own. And at the grandest stage of them all, in the WrestleMania main event, Roman Reigns loses. The Demon wins the Universal Championship because he has to. I know that a lot of people want Roman Reigns to remain undefeated so long as there is the potential for a match between himself and his cousin, The Rock. And I'm very much one of those people, but the Demon has to be protected, and this way we've established a narrative where Roman Reigns is fighting to overcome his insecurities, to make sure that no one is going to overshadow him, and there's no one more likely to overshadow him than the biggest movie star in the world, The Rock, so we can leave that, we can have that left for later. That story's going to be fine. As for Finn Balor, he has completed his road to the top of the card in his redemption story to reclaim a championship that he never lost. On the SmackDown after Mania, have Finn Balor come out and cut a promo thanking the fans for being behind him, saying that at WrestleMania he faced his own demons and won. Now it's time to let the Demon rest. That's right, I'm basically suggesting that WWE should retire the Demon. Now, yeah, I know I said that the Demon should be protected and it's a special attraction and it's unique and everything like that, but as we've kind of discussed, the Demon creates more narrative problems than it does narrative opportunities, and realistically, it's difficult to book someone who's undefeated. It's difficult to book that kind of angle. However, Finn Balor has proven with his work in NXT and his work in Japan that his Prince gimmick is definitely extremely marketable, definitely belongs at the top of a card, and is also a character that has a certain fragility about it, a certain defeatability about it. We can let the Demon rest, we can let the Demon retire. I say retire, maybe that's a bit strong. Maybe put on the shelf, let it remain the nuclear option. But talking of retiring, it's time for me to retire, sort of, because that's the end of this video. Hooray! Did you like it? Well, how could you not have liked it? Let me know in the comment section down below how much you enjoyed it, or on the off chance that you didn't enjoy it, let me know in the comment section down below how you would have done this better. Don't forget to come and join me on Twitter at Daves_pitches. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all again very, very soon.